Yeah. Look. You know how to pagan shit.
Hi, it is episode 37 of Hit Me Again. Seth Topol and Colton Molesky. We are getting to like veteran player signed to an NBA roster for the minimum level. Number of podcast episodes that we've done.
I feel that. I'm almost ready to retire at this point.
I had one of those days where I woke up today and I'm like, oh boy, everything hurts. Like trying to putting a robot together like from scratch. Like when I got up, like, okay, put the head on, twist it one way, the next way, get the arms put on, and it was
over stuff in
it was just a mess. But
I feel that. I hit the gym pretty hard yesterday, and then I didn't get enough sleep last night. You know how early my mornings are, and so just waking up. There's nothing worse than waking up at 2 a.m. after not enough sleep, and you got that gym sore on. It's just like, oh no,
yeah.
What have I done?
I was getting texts from you at like 8:30 last night. I'm like, he is clearly like just in
no regard for the sleep schedule.
Do not care mode, and I love it.
No regard for the sleep schedule. And for people who don't know, 8:30 is real late for me because I get up at 2 o'clock every weekday morning to get to work at 4 o'clock because I'm the morning reporter for a station here in Madison, Wisconsin. So I work super, super early. So if I don't get to bed at 8 is the cutoff where I have to be asleep by 8 to get the 6 hours, just to get 6. So when I'm texting at 8:30, I've locked in for 5 hours.
Yeah, I was like, we are really doing this. And so, yeah, we're glad you're here. It's a Friday. And you are really trying to just put me out in a bad place with the topic that we're going to go over today, which is some of our worst beats. Bad beats, bad bets.
Worst beats of the year. You know, nobody wants to hear about how you did well. Nobody wants to hear about your successes. They want to hear about your failures, want to hear about the crushing losses. They want to see you hurt a little bit, especially with gambling. Everybody loves when you have a bad gambling story. Everybody loves when I tell them about the time I bet against Alabama in the Iron Bowl and a kick 6 ends up losing the game and the bet for me. Nobody wants to hear about how I bet on the Cavs back in like 2016 when they were down 30 to the Pacers in the first round of the playoffs and they came back and won. Nobody wants to hear these stories. They want to hear about the losses. But I thought just for a quick second, before we talk about that, what better team to talk about when we're discussing losses than the Houston Texans, who have now had J.J. Watt, Clowney, and Hopkins leave their organization with nary a first-round pick to speak of for those 3 talents. That's amazing.
I saw the greatest tweet of all time today. Somebody saying after J.J. Watt was released, say what you will about Bill O'Brien, at least he would have gotten an old running back in return.
I saw a tweet that said the Houston Texans are planning not to have any fans in 2021. Nothing to do with the pandemic. That's just the way they want to run things now.
So obviously he's going to Green Bay. Like, you can write it down right now. Like, that's
I don't know if you're the Steelers. I know that they're pretty pressed against the cap, but if you made some things happen, move some stuff around. I mean, he did have that massive contract, so maybe he signs for the vet minimum to play with his brother on a team that's at least going to be going to the playoffs. No, the quarterback position is up in the air, but that defense was still really good. They still have a good receiving core. So if you plug in somebody at quarterback, you think they're at least going to grab a wild card spot. So maybe he goes there. I saw Vegas had really good odds for the Bills as well, which I hadn't thought of, but that actually sounds really nice. Because they have a good secondary. I like their linebackers a lot, and you get him in there. I'm not saying that he's going to be the 2012 version of himself, but
I'm telling you, he's going to be better.
I was thinking what's the worst that he is? Like when Jared Allen played mostly third down for the Carolina Panthers. What did he have that year for sacks? Didn't he still have like 9 sacks that year or something like
I
that?
think so.
I don't know. If that's the worst version, that's not bad.
Or even like another comparable thing, I suppose, would be like Julius Peppers playing for the Green Bay Packers, and he was still very productive too.
Yeah. Well, and Julius Peppers did play a little more than third down, but I'm just thinking like the bare minimum. Like if he just comes in on third down, like that one Jared Allen year, or there's been a few players that have done that. I know that near the end of the Ware tenure in Denver, he was mostly like a utility third down kind of piece pass rush. But still, I don't think it's that bad, especially if you get him on the veterans minimum. I know as somebody who lives in Wisconsin, there was a very excited newsroom when that news broke that that he was released by the Texans. I think a lot of people assume that he's going to go right back to Wisconsin. I thought I was texting some friends. I kind of thought the Bengals would be a fun spot for him to land.
You maniac.
Right? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Give their defense a little pass rush. They still got some pieces. I know that Dunlap is gone, but they still got some pieces on the defense. Joe Burrow's going to be back. He's a really good quarterback. If they get him and a tackle and a guard in the offseason, all of a sudden that team's looking pretty nice.
If they accomplish these 7 things, they will be a pretty decent team.
You know what? It's never easy, but it's a hell of a lot easier when you have a great quarterback on a rookie deal.
Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, give the Rams an opportunity too.
Oh my gosh. If the Rams have JJ Watt on their squad as like the fun utility pass rush with Aaron Donald already on that team and all of their what do you got? Henderson exploded this year. They've got a lot of rotation linemen that they can just cycle in, and then you add JJ Watt to that. That's insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I would assume that they'll go for him because
I have no idea what their cap situation is off the top of my head.
It's not great. Sean Payton is like vomiting right now because of the fact that they're like $190 million over the cap.
What is worse, the cap situation for the Rams or your financial situation?
Oh, it's my financial situation, hands down.
Like, but it's closer than the Rams won.
You can't. So if you are $70 million over the salary cap, you can find ways to work around that.
There's no financial maneuver that's going to save you.
You can't work around $2.13 in your checking account for a week. Like, you can't maneuver around that unless you donate.
There's no coloring this in a better light.
BioLife is not walking through that door. That's all there is to it.
At this point, you're going in like every day. Just like, hit me again. It's only 2 times a week, sir.
I just show them the logo. I just show them the logo for the podcast.
So it's only 2 times a week, sir. Hit me again.
I don't care. Papa needs that 350.
Sir, you look a little pasty. No, don't worry about it.
Just looking like a skeleton at this point.
Just hit the other arm. Plug it in a leg if you need to.
But yeah, it's my financial situation hands down.
Well, that's promising. I'm glad that I have hitched my wagon to such a successful horse.
Very lucrative
in this situation. Fantastic. All right. Speaking of horrible financial situations, it's the perfect segue for the horrible financial situations we put ourselves in this year. I'm going to actually do this backwards. So you'd think I'd start at the beginning of the year, but let's first start with some of the bad Super Bowl beats before we look to the beginning of the year. First and foremost, we do this, it feels like every year. I know that we've only been doing this for 3 Super Bowls, but it feels like every single year, either myself or the 2 of us combined mess up the anthem. Why do we do this? Just go over every time. We should just go over every time. That's the best play. If it goes under, it goes under. We should just go over every time.
Yeah. I mean, we were again in the exact same spot we were before, watching the anthem play out and then just squirming when it got to 145 and being like, they're not even close.
I cannot believe, because the end tally was 220, I believe it was.
Yeah,
we were so off. Is the point? We were
he tap danced
so off.
all over that line. Like he took a nap. Eric Church just took a nap.
Well, and we were hosed even before that. But then he just, for emphasis, they they held out the last line for emphasis, just to rub it in our noses in it a little bit. I think the biggest, I had some missteps, and I did it. We had some good beats. Brady MVP was an easy one and a nice hedge for us. Antonio Brown's scoring was nice. That was good. Our basketball bets, mine paid out. The Murray one, he did not play, so those got canceled out, so no loss there. But the rushes for Brady was a nice pickup. The problem is we also had, or at least I know I for sure had 3 or 4 bets tied to Chiefs touchdowns, which I don't know if anyone watched the game, but the Chiefs found the end zone less times than the streaker did, which is not a sentence I thought. Not a sentence I thought I would say. By the way, side note, did you see the story on him?
Yes.
About how he bet on a streaker?
He took Pat McAfee's advice literally and he bet on himself.
He put, what was it, 50 or no? He put like 10K on it and walked away with like 300 grand, something like that. I can't remember the exact numbers, but he put a bunch on it to win way more.
I hope he had that bail money like readily available.
Well, and we asked ourselves, and first of all, this comes out, I think 3 days after the Super Bowl, something like that. So he's already gotten his ticket, I'm assuming, which means the money is gone. The casino can't withhold it. They could try, I guess, sue him, but I doubt they're getting that money. And I asked you when it was happening. Is it really worth it to never go to a football game again, to streak on the field? And then this news breaks. Yep, it's super worth it. For almost half a mil, it's super worth it. It's very much worth it. You know, the things they're doing with HD TVs, insane. Super worth it.
Buy yourself a 70-inch TV, fully HD, 4K. Yeah, like you would never need a reason to go to another football game ever again.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic. You know what? Good job. Good job for him. Dropping the bag on himself.
Yeah.
Drop the bag on himself.
Pat McAfee had a tweet where they talked about like his whole backstory and everything, and the theme was bet on yourself. And that guy was like, "Deal, I will do that." And
he was
I will.
Like, this is the words I'm going to live by. Yeah, I am living by these words.
Best of luck to you. Maybe next time pick a some other type of outfit to wear.
It was a bold outfit. It was a bold choice. Bold color scheme. I'll say that right now.
Blinding.
So those were a couple bad beats, though. Is tough look. Here's the deal. Is we noted going into it, the offensive line was a mess. And there's still that Mahomes factor of, you know what? He's still insane. And we saw it in that game, too. When he's laying out, he's literally parallel with the field, throwing for 30 yards. And his guys have passes bouncing off their face masks. The points were there. Somehow, did you see the stat where he ran 500 yards behind the line of scrimmage that game? He was somehow keeping these plays alive. They were still there. And literally nobody wanted to help him. Not his offensive line, not his tight ends, not his running backs, not his wide receivers. Nobody wanted to help him in this game. And the points were still there to be had. Tyreek Hill has the one off the face mask. To be fair, that catch by Pringle, that should have counted for some points. Not a touchdown, but that should have been like 4 points. The fact that he came down with that ball after the pass that Mahomes threw, and then he came down with that ball, and he almost nailed the corner of that end zone. That was insane. But he was the only receiver that wanted to help Mahomes. All the other receivers apparently were just like, you know what? This was a good run. We don't need to do it anymore.
All of the other receivers heard me on a previous show saying that we have seen the best of Patrick Mahomes and that he has reached his peak and that his career is just going to be a downward spiral. And so they're like, what? Downward spiral? Should I help out with that? Okay.
All of them went, you know what? We respect Brady too much. We gotta let him have this one. We're just gonna. They all took the Tyreek catch. They all took the helmet catch too literally. They're like, you know what? This is the only way to beat Brady is catch him with the helmet.
They're like, we can't have Steve Spagnuolo beat Tom Brady again.
We can't allow it. That's ridiculous.
Two out of three.
He's in the Hall of Fame if he gets another ring. We can't do it.
This guy.
So that was some bad beats from the Super Bowl. Hopefully, if you listen to the show and took any of our advice, hopefully you came out with some winners, more winners than losers. All right, let's relive some bad beats.
Why do you have to go back to 20?
Let's relive some bad beats. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of the season. Seth, I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the season, but there was this little thing called hockey being played at the beginning of the season because the Stanley Cup, the playoffs and the Stanley Cup were getting finished out during the beginning of the football season. Let me relive some of these bets for you. So we had the Patriots parlayed with the Lightning and the Lakers money line. That's a loss. That's a loss for sure. We had the Ravens, the Packers, and the Lightning money line, and the Celtics. All winners except the Lightning. That's a loss. That's a loss for sure. We had the Packers money line and the Chiefs money line and the Lightning money line. That's a loss. That's a loss for sure. Thank you, Seth, for these expert hockey picks. You literally run a podcast network that we are a part of called Mini Ice, which would assume that from time to time you talk about hockey. You're wearing a wild hat right now. And I think the biggest damper to my parlays this year were adding Lightning and any sort of hockey bet to my parlays. Fantastic work. Great job, buddy. I love it.
To examine the start to the career of one of the most statistically great players of actually, I can do that with two of them. Two of the most decorated players that we will ever see in our lifetimes or that will ever exist. Michael Jordan started his basketball career 0 for 8.
When you start by comparing yourself to Michael Jordan, fantastic start. Fantastic.
Tom Brady started his professional career 0 for 6. I started my hockey picks career 0 for 7.
0 for a milli.
I'm telling you, it's going to get better. And I'm going to one day be wearing some sort of colored jacket for the podcast Picks Hall of Fame. And there will be some sort of Cooperstown speech.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. We'll be waiting on it. Right. Anyways, this next group of picks, I would like to label, you should have seen this coming, stupid. I would like to put every time I bet on an NFC East team into this group. I don't know what's wrong with me. I need help. This podcast is my cry for help. No one helps me. Absolutely no one. Chief among them, you. There are a lot. There are some Cowboys, Giants overs that I have in here. There are some Washington football team picks that I have in here. There are some Eagles grabs that I have in here. But I would like to what I'm saying is that I saw a mistake. I made the mistake. and then I kept making the mistake throughout the year. But one thing that I would like to highlight of those mistakes, and again, these are the you should have seen this coming, dummy, grouping of bad beats. I would like to highlight one in particular, and that is the Cowboys plus 9.5 against the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Not only did they have their, the third string quarterback in there, but I was actually in line to win that bet until there was a sack, fumble, picked up, and returned for a touchdown in the fourth quarter for the last points to ruin that bet. Fantastic work, Colton. Great job. Great job.
You betting on the NFC East reminds me of one of the first things that you ever said on this show, and that being about betting on Heisman Trophy candidates. You said at the time, it's not something I would probably suggest that you do. That being said, I went ahead and did it anyway. And here is
I bet on several of them. Several. By the way, none of those won, just in case we're checking numbers and going back, checking math. None of those won.
I pulled a full-out Steve Harvey when you did that, and I was like...
Fantastic work.
Did I hear that correctly? Oh, yeah. You heard that correctly, and then some.
This isn't technically a loss, but I would like to add it to this because it's such a ridiculous way not to win money. I had the Bills +2 against the Cardinals, which should have been a win. But you can't laugh before I'm even finished. But because of a dumb Hail Mary, I get a push, which is a little like kissing your cousin in gambling to get the push on the spread, especially on +2. What a weird spread. You couldn't just win by 1 like a normal team and give me the victory. So dumb. So dumb. Against 3 DBs. Love it. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. Coming back for second helpings.
Good. I mean, anytime you can just pee your pants on live television like that, you definitely have to.
Fantastic work. Couldn't recommend it more. I have a teaser that I'd like to highlight as well that went horrible. Just horrible. And actually, this isn't even just a teaser. This is wrapped up in several parlays. All right? Are you ready for this? What team do you remember the Rams being favored by 17.5 points against? I'm gonna spoil it for you. It was the Jets.
Oh,
the Jets.
Yep.
I had the Rams in teasers. I had the Rams in parlays. I had the Rams money line. I had the spread. Guess who the Rams lost to? The Jets. The Jets, who, by the way, had not won a game at this point.
That was Adam Gase's masterpiece and why he deserves to be a coach in the NFL still today.
After almost getting ripped to shreds by the Raiders, nearly blowing it the week before, I thought, you know what? It's the Raiders. They're a weird team. The Rams will be fine. The Rams will be fine. How could this possibly drain more life out of my soul than having to watch every drop of the Raiders-Jets game, holding on to a pillow like some scared passenger on a sinking ship for last week? I'm going to go back in. I'm going to bet against the Jets. Clearly not good.
Did you just watch Titanic, or where did that reference come from?
No, the Poseidon Adventure, but close. Oh. Terrible. That was definitely my worst bad beat of all of the terrible beats. And we could give you more. I've given out plenty of losers. I'd like to think I gave out slightly more winners than losers, but those were my worst beats of the year.
what a miserable betting year. I mean,
well, when you clump them all together, it sounds real terrible.
just shameful.
Shameful.
Yikes.
Who would let me on a podcast?
Who'd let me on a podcast?
We have our best people on it. Don't worry. But that's on you. Okay. Let's finish this out. Let's talk a little bit about what the plan is going forward. We're obviously going to talk a lot of hoops. Got a lot of basketball coming. Got college basketball. We've got March Madness right around the corner. Who knows what we're going to see for conference championships, conference tournaments. A few of those are up in there. Big Ten, obviously, those are a lock, but those are in Indianapolis where the March Madness is being held. So that's an easy one. There's some teams that just want to sequester themselves before they get to March Madness. So we'll see what happens there, but we'll be there with wagers all along the way. We've got basketball coming. We've got some ideas for some NBA videos coming up throughout the season. But we did it, buddy. We got through the NFL season. It was a grind.
Much like Roger Goodell, we were sweating profusely through most of it and got to the end of the line and just kind of collapsed.
You're like Sean Miller over there. You were changing shirts. You were giving yourself a Gatorade bath when you hadn't even won yet. I just need it for the ice. That's what I'm after.
Seth, you look like you've seen a ghost. What's wrong? NFL season is over.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
Oh my God.
Here's the deal though. When we were starting this out and we were watching old college football games on the rewatch, back then, if you had told us that, guess what? The pandemic's still going to be going on, but football is going to get through the entire season. There's going to be some bumps and some bruises, especially for college football, but they're going to get through it. They are going to get through the seasons for college football and the NFL. I don't know if I would have believed you, but we did it. We got through. We made it. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to have sports back. Pretty awesome to be here for the ride.
And my favorite part, spring football for the Citadel.
Yeah, buddy. It's coming back. The football season is not over yet. We got some teams playing this spring. It's going to be fantastic. You think they let fans in? Should we go to a game?
Why would we sit with the fans? We can get media credentials. Are you kidding? If I would email about that,
they would fraudulent media credentials that you could acquire.
They would not even
media credentials.
They wouldn't even look at the fact that they were getting an email from somebody in Minnesota. They'd just say, somebody wants press credentials? Okay.
We'll have to build a press box.
And by the way, this is your Citadel football leader. Don't listen to what anybody else suggests. We had it first.
We are the number one Citadel fan club. We are waving the banner. We know the players. We're watching the games for some reason.
Our boy Rainey is throwing 4 passes a game.
Exactly. Our favorite quarterback / mostly running back.
It's the best. Ever. Yeah, so we look forward to live tweeting a Citadel football game at some point.
I love it. I love it. I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
We'll also get more hockey bets in here as well.
I don't know if we want to go too crazy.
Well, I mean, we don't have to worry about betting on the Wild, right? Will they ever play again?
Actually, they opened the practice facility today.
Will they ever play?
I'll say the 16th they will play.
The 16th. All right. So we'll have some hockey bets next week.
Tuesday. I don't know why I did I don't know what's going on.
We're losing him at the 29-minute mark of this recording.
Just as surely as James Harden lost the weight, I will lose more hockey bets.
A bet no one thought would cash.
What we're here for. That's what we give the people.
He looks like he was eating Magic City wings 6 times a day. He probably was actually.
I mean, I would.
When you drop that much cash at a gentleman's club, I assume they just keep the wings coming.
Yeah,
you don't even have to order them. They just have your favorites on display.
That's where you tell the server to just make it bottomless. Like, just charge a flat
Does
rate.
Harden even have to pay for the wings at Magic City? I feel like they're complimentary.
I think they would make an exception, especially if they knew he was coming.
Oh, they definitely know when he's coming. He's got people that call ahead and are like, get the VIP section ready.
Get 100 dozen wings ready to go.
You got to call in the A team because he's rolling in at all times of the week. He's coming up on like a 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Like, get the A team ready. Call him in.
We're willing to pay extra for you to come in at this time because James Harden will be here.
Exactly. It's not like when Lou Williams is going just for the wings. It's for the protein.
Is he bringing Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving with him now, or is that kind of something that you, if that's your thing, you just do solo?
No,
I'm
sure he goes with his group of buddies. I don't know if that includes other players. I feel like Kyrie would be the worst hang at a club. I feel like he would be either a really bad hang or a really awesome hang. But there's no in between. There's no it was a pretty fun night with Kyrie. It was either, wow, that was amazing. Or it was wow.
I'm never doing that again.
Horrible.
Yeah.
That was horrible. The whole time we're trying to talk to girls, and this whole time he was talking about his vaccine theory and how it has to do with why the Earth is flat.
Yeah,
why would you say that, Kyrie?
He's just got a map, and he's like, "Hey, do you come here? Do you know that the Earth is flat?" And they're just like
one of those globes that flattens is. This is the way it's supposed to
be. People are trying to they're like, get him away from me.
He's trapping you in the corner. It's just I'd really like to talk to you about the Illuminati. I'd really like to, please. I just want to get a drink, Kyrie.
You're in the corner trying to call a timeout like Chris Webber, and you don't have one.
Please, Kyrie. I just want to get a drink, Kyrie. Please, I don't want to talk about this. I really don't want it.
You're furiously trying to make eye contact with anybody else. You're like,
Durant, get off of Twitter. Please help me. Durant, get off of Twitter. Please help me. Please.
Oh my God. That is a mystery that needs to be explored, I think.
I feel like James Harden goes with teammates, but it's not the teammates you'd expect.
DeAndre Jordan. Is he even a net still?
Yeah. He's their only center.
Well,
it's DeAndre Jordan, James Harden, and Joe House.
He's going with Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni. They're drawing up plays. Okay, we've derailed.
He's drawn up with chicken wings.
Get off me. Get out of here.
Excuse me. I think I found a way to fix our defense.
Where'd you get that marker? Oh my God.
It's a gross magic trick.
Just take my word for it.
Stick to my hand.
Oh my God. Oh boy.
That would be awesome. It's all right, James Harden has picked the place that we're going to have the casual team meeting for this week, where we're going to just talk some shop while we eat some dinner. And it's a strip club. Harden, what did we say? One thing we said not to do.
He hops off the bus, and the only thing he says to his teammates is, "Make sure you eat light." What? What does that mean?
We don't have practice tonight. In a way, we do.
Different kind of ball.
Oh my God. Holy Moses.
What just happened with the last 10 minutes of this show?
Delete all of this. It's not worth it. And we make the cut in 3, 2, 1. Well, that was a rousing discussion about bets that we lost and all that we talked about. That's it. All right. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Please come back.